What's up, Mopar fam? Hope everybody out there's having a fantastic time. And no, frostbite is not squatting. I just have the front end of the truck lifted up. So today we're going to be installing the water methanol injection kit. And first thing on the list is we need to install the high pressure pump. So I have picked a spot on the frame rail on the driver's side that we're going to mount this. So we're going to get right down to it, guys. I'm going to get this thing mounted up and then I'm going to show you where I put it and we'll go to the next step. Alright guys, so we are underneath the truck right now, and that is where I mounted the water methanol injection pump. We went right here on the frame rail on the driver's side, right behind some of the power steering hoses. It had just enough room to fit it up there. We got 4 screws in it that came with the kit, and that's pretty much it. So where we're going to go from here is, obviously we have our wiring down here on the bottom that we're going to have to wire up here in a little while, and then we're going to use the factory window washer fluid tank that's over here, and we're going to have to take that tank out and put in our fittings. And then we'll run a line from here to this side of the pump, and then there'll be another line coming out on the other side of the pump that goes up to our intake. And that's pretty much how it's going to go. So when you mount the methanol injection pump, the instructions state that the pump needs to be lower than your reservoir tank, and that is to keep the pump primed so it doesn't get air in it. So we are perfect. The tank is just above the pump, as you can see. So we're going to work out just fine right there. And then we'll be able to run our line up this hose right here and actually follow the wiring harness to the engine and run it up to the intake. So it should look pretty clean when we get it all done. But that is where we are going to mount the pump, guys. Alright guys, so we got our meth injection pump installed. We got our electrical system pretty much all installed, wires ran. We're going to take the grill off and get the windshield washer reservoir tank out of the truck so that we can convert it over to be able to run our meth fluid. So we're going to get everything off, get that tank out, and drill and install the fitting in the bottom to run our meth system. Alright, so here is our stock windshield washer fluid reservoir tank right here. And to get this guy out, it looks like there's a 10mm bolt up here. There is a 10mm bolt down here on this side. And then we have the wiring and the hose that runs to our windshield washer nozzles. So we'll need to unplug this connector off of the electric little pump right here, and then lay this harness to the side, and we can pull the tank out. And then we're going to drain the fluid out of this tank and then drill and install the fitting in the bottom to run our methanol pump. Don't know if I'll be able to get this one with this tool or not. We're going to try. Nope, we're going to have to get a wrench for that one. See if I can fit my hand in here with this intercooler right here next to everything. I believe that's just 2 bolts, yep. So it's 2 10mm screws right here, And then there's a little tab right here that it slides and drops into. So we're going to pop out the little harness right here and unplug this connector. There we go. And I'm going to try to pull the tank up. And there's also another electrical connector on the bottom side behind the tank that I actually didn't see, so we're going to reach behind there and unplug it. And then now what we can do is unplug the hose that runs to the windshield washer nozzles right here. And it's going to leak out some, I'm sure. Alright, now we're going to dump this tank. Right, there we go. There is our stock window washer tank reservoir. So now I got to figure out exactly where I'm going to install this fitting. So this is the fitting right here that we have to install that will feed fluid to our pump. And we're going to have to drill a hole and install it in our tank somewhere. Somewhere in the bottom would be ideal. It looks like right here. There's a good section here that's pretty flat. We could put it right there. Only thing with that is it wouldn't be completely at the bottom. As you see, this goes all the way down to the bottom, where this is our stock electric motor that pumps fluid from this tank to the windshield washer nozzles. So in the stock one is actually picking the fluid up way down here. So I see there's a flat spot here on the bottom that we can put the fitting in. I'm just not sure if there's enough space with that electric motor right there or not for it to go next to it. So I'm gonna check this out and see what's going on, see if we can fit it right here, because if we could put it all the way on the bottom, that's where I want it. Obviously, because this connector here that we unplugged, that would be the low level sensor that comes up on the dash when this fluid gets low. And I want to use that, so if we put our fitting up here, then obviously we're going to run out of fluid before this sensor would think the tank's actually empty. So I do want to try to get this down here if I can. That way that sensor would actually be usable and would tell us, obviously, like it does stock, when it's getting low on fluid. So when we get down to here, it's going to say that we're out of windshield washer fluid, and I will know I need to put some more meth injection fluid in here before we run out. So let's get to it. So after checking this thing out a little bit, I do believe we are going to be able to install our fitting all the way at the bottom, and there's just enough room to where this is going to be able to ride right next to the pump pickup. So we're going to put it right here. We're going to get this hole drilled, get our sealant on this thing, and thread it into the tank. Alright, we got our hole drilled. I'm going to get a razor blade. We're going to clean this up. Then we're going to blow this tank out with compressed air so we get all of our debris out of it, because we don't want any of these plastic shavings to get into our pickup line or our feed line and clog up. That way, that would suck, because then it would block the fluid flow. So we're going to make sure we get this tank cleaned out really good real quick. Then we will get this thing installed. Alright, we're going to get our fitting installed in the tank. We're going to use the supplied E6000 sealant that they install you in the meth injection kit from Snow Performance. They want you to put a good dose around this fitting and then thread it into the tank, and then we'll put some more around the outside just to help make sure we don't get any leaks. And this is threading into plastic, obviously, so we are not going to tighten this very much. We're just going to bottom it out and give it a little bit of a snug. That's it. The glue will do the rest as far as sealing it and keeping it from coming loose. Alright, looks pretty good to me. we're going to let that dry up, and we're going to get started on some other stuff on the truck. Alright guys, so the next thing while we're letting our tank dry with the fitting, we need to mark where we want to install the nozzle. The nozzle has to be, they say, about 6 inches from the throttle body, and I've already marked the tube where we're going to put it. So the nozzle is going to go right here. So we're going to need to take off, I'm going to take this whole section of pipe off. We got to drill a hole and we got to tap it for the threads of this nozzle. And then we will thread in this nozzle, and of course we'll run our line up to this nozzle. So when the kit comes on, it's going to spray the atomized water methanol injection into this pipe, and it's going to be sucked in through the intake and basically go through the motor and cool everything down and raise the octane. So that's where we're going to put it. I'm going to get this thing off and we're going to start drilling and tapping. We got the piping section off. We have it marked where we need to drill a hole in our tube right here. This is the nozzle that we got to install, and you are going to need a 11 30-seconds drill bit, and you're going to need a 1/8 inch 27 MPT tap. So we're going to drill the hole, and then we're going to run the tap in to tap threads into this tube so that we can insert the nozzle for the meth injection, and we'll be good to go with this part. Alright, we got a little punch right here. We're going to make a little punch so our drill bit will stay on. These things are pretty cool. They're like spring loaded. You just push on it and it basically makes a nice little indentation there instead of using like a hammer and punch. Alright, let's get our hole drilled. Alright, we got that part, hole drilled. Now we're going to tap this hole that we just drilled so that our nozzle will screw into it. Alright, we got our tap set up here on a ratchet. This is more or less the same method you would do if you was installing a single nozzle NITROUS kit, where you have to put a nozzle in your intake tube. Basically the same thing we're doing right here. Alright, so we got this part done. Now I'm going to get the compressed air, and we're going to blow out this tube so we get all of our metal shavings out of it, and we will be good to go. As you can see, I got the intake tube installed. We got the nozzle threaded into the pipe, so we're pretty much done with all that. Now we just got to run the nylon tubing to our pump, to the window washer fluid reservoir, and then up to the nozzle. And we will have this thing basically pretty much installed and plumbed up. And then we will be working on routing the boost reference hose from the pressure switch to vacuum on our manifold. That way it'll read boost and turn the system on when we hit some boost. So we're going to start routing some nylon tubing and try to get that part done. Alright guys, so we ran the nylon tubing to our nozzle up here on the intake tube, which is running down to the pump for the meth injection. And we have the check valve that Snow Performance gives us. I have it installed right here between the line. They say you need to have the check valve installed between the nozzle and the methanol injection pump. So we have it right here. And the last thing to do is install the window washer fluid reservoir tank, which is now our methanol injection tank, and we're pretty much done. So we've already let this dry. We have our fitting installed in our methanol tank, which was our factory window washer fluid tank. The fitting's installed, we got the glue on, it's dry. We just need to connect the last bit of nylon tubing, which is coming off of the methanol injection pump right here that I already have hooked to the pump, and then it's going to attach to this fitting that we installed in our factory tank. So I'm going to get that hooked up real quick. Alright guys, we got our factory window washer tank installed on the truck again. We got the Meth system all plumbed up and ready to roll. It's time to pour in the boost juice. This is the water methanol mix. And we are pretty much done, guys. Kind of curious to see how much the factory tank will hold. I almost bet it holds about a whole gallon of this stuff, which is going to be cool, because we won't have to refill it very often. Looks like it's going to hold the whole thing. Yes, sir. She's about right there, about an inch from the top. So 1 whole gallon of boost juice in the factory tank. Heck yeah. Well, like I said, we got everything plumbed up, ready to go. I'm going to give you a rundown of more or less how the system works and how I have it set up real quick. The water Meth system is pretty much adjustable when you're running a boost application. There is a little switch that runs off of manifold pressure, vacuum, whatever. And right now I have this switch set to about 5 psi. So when we hit 5 pounds of boost, the methanol injection kit is going to come on and spray the methanol mix in the intake. There's a little green LED light that's inside the truck that I have mounted in the gauge cluster next to my boost gauge, letting you know that the methanol injection is on and spraying. Light goes out, or you let out the gas pedal and the boost drops, the system goes off. It's completely automatic, and you can raise or lower the pressure setting for the methanol to come on at lower PSI or higher PSI. But very simple kit, very easy install, and I'm going to show you the little green light inside the truck real quick. Alright guys, so we're inside the truck, and here's my boost gauge. And then this is the little green LED that we installed that comes with the methanol injection kit from Snow Performance. You just drill a little hole and you insert it wherever you want, and it's wired in with the wiring harness. So again, when we hit 5 pounds of boost, the green light's going to light up, letting you know that the methanol system is on and spraying. As soon as the boost drops below the 5 psi mark that I have it set at, the green light will go off, letting you know that the methanol system is not on. Pretty nice. So as long as that light's on, you know the pump and everything's running and you're spraying methanol. Alright guys, I think that's going to do it for the video today. We got everything hooked up, ready to go. So like I said before, this kit, it does come with its own tank if you want to use it, but you also have the option to use your factory window washer fluid tank as well. Obviously, you know, having that tank, it's larger, it's going to hold more, and it's already installed, so that's why I went that way. It's just easier instead of having another tank in the engine bay that takes up more room and kind of clutter stuff. But your option, you can do either way. And you know, the benefits of having a methanol injection kit, it works well on NA applications, boosted applications, NITROUS applications. It'll work with anything and has lots of perks for either way or whatever your build is. If you're running an NA setup, you can run a system and it'll let you put a little more timing in because it keeps the cylinders and the hot spots down. The temperatures stay lower, the air intake temperature stays lower, and the added methanol actually increases octane rating as well. So there's perks for that. And it does the same thing for boost and or NITROUS applications. It can be used with anything. So again, hope you guys liked the video. As always guys, stay safe out there. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, tap the bell button for the notifications so you don't miss anything, and we'll see you on the next one.